In this video, I'm going to show 5 common shots that most amateurs play wrong and how to play them properly. Let's start with the first situation. Ball in hand and you need to get from the 1 to the 8. A few years ago, I would have given myself a straight-in shot and just draw the cue ball back for position. But so often I just played a stop shot instead, and sometimes for whatever reason I overdrew the cue ball by a mile. But even nowadays I wouldn't play it that way anymore, because it is a shot that requires a perfectly timed amount of backspin. And in pool, not only amateurs, but even the pros wanna avoid touchy shots. This is one because it requires a soft draw stroke. So instead, just use a bit more angle and stun the cue ball into the long rail. This is the most common shot there is in pool for a reason. It's even much easier to control. Instead of a draw, you just need a sliding cue ball. That makes it 10 times easier. The next shot I always played wrong was this one, where I just wanna go one rail to the 8 ball. Pretty simple, right? Of course I tried to cut the ball and just play a follow shot. But I ended up way too far away from the 8, and that's why I thought, well, let's just hit it a bit harder. And all of a sudden, I ended up even further away from the 8. So I asked myself, why is that? Well, follow on the cue ball naturally keeps it moving in the direction you're shooting. This means the cue ball wants to keep going towards the corner pocket even after it makes contact with a rail. And the harder I hit, the more follow on the cue ball. That's why it wants to go even more to the rail. To avoid that, I just play a center ball that is rolling instead of spinning. That's the only change. Now I can hit softer and the cue ball is controlled by the cutting angle. And you can pick whatever angle you want because pocket hangers can be cut into any direction. This means even if the 8 ball was way up table, I just cut the ball more so the cue ball will have more momentum left and takes a different path. When I was in this situation, which is awfully tricky, I used a lot of right spin to get to the 8. And I ended up with the perfect position on the 8. It's a great shot, yes, but was it the right shot? Well, remember, we want to make the game easier, and using spin on this shot is very difficult to judge. Most of the time you miss by overcutting the ball, because spin makes the cue ball deflect. So instead, I try to see what happens if I just use follow instead of spin. And surprisingly, I got a great position on the 8. If you compare the path with inside spin, to the path of just follow, there is a clear difference though. So what if the follow path is blocked by an interfering ball, for example? Well, then I just use a bit less follow. Now the path is very similar to the one with spin. One reason is that the cue ball automatically gets a bit of right spin from the one ball and every single rail. Sounds complicated, makes total sense, but is a bit too deep for this video though. If you're interested, the bonus video for that is in the video description. This time I need to get from the 2 to the 1 to the 8, so I just play the 2 ball in, of course, and 2 straight. So now I'm forced to play a hard stun shot with left spin, which is very uncontrolled. So let's just try again. This time I ended up even more straight and a big draw stroke is required, which is very difficult once again. Why didn't I just take the time to actually look at the angle I need on the 1 before playing the goddamn shot? That made me realize the cue ball has to bounce much further off the rail. I know, this looks like a lot of angle, but on this shot, you don't have to do anything with the cue ball. You can use your absolute feel-good stroke to come up table. And I totally get if you're afraid of that shot or even worried about getting that position on the 1. So you could also try to hold the cue ball below the 1. It's a bit risky, you are more likely to miss the 2 ball. However, if it works, you have a ball in hand position on the 1, it's easier to park it, and position is as natural as it gets. The last one is a big one. Here I was close to straight on a 1 and I just want to play a stop shot to hold position on the 8. Let's hit a bit harder to bring the cue ball just a bit off the rail to make the 8 ball easier. And the 1 ball hang in the pocket. What was the problem? Well, this was shot way too hard, which makes the pockets play smaller. I barely hit the rail before the pocket and missed the shot. So hitting hard makes pockets smaller, and very often you'll also tighten up on the stroke, which can cause you to miss the shot just completely. And it can also create inaccuracy in your cue ball's tip position. And even if you get everything of that right, if you don't hit the pocket where you intend, all of the risk was for nothing. So is all of this really worth the risk to just bring the cue ball a bit off the rail? Well, I don't think so. Instead, I aim maximum low on the cue ball and just play a relaxed, soft stop shot. This means more accuracy, it makes the pocket bigger, and the cue ball still got off the rail that way. So what do you think? Do you want to start playing the shots the right way? Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe for more.